This is what you need to know now. Accused CEO killer Luigi Mangione pleading guilty in his federal case, what it could mean for his future. A kidnapped American missionary has been released from captivity. Catastrophic flooding in the Midwest and in Hawaii, the new hurricane warning now issued. I'm Elizabeth Schulze from ABC News. It's Friday, August 14th, and here's the big story. The suspect in the murder of the CEO of United Healthcare pleading guilty in federal court today to 2 federal charges of stalking connected to the death of Brian Thompson. Each carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. Now questions are growing over what that could mean for his state murder trial set to start next month.
After nearly 2 years of maintaining he was not guilty of killing Brian Thompson, Luigi Mangione sat at the defense table, cropped hair, stubble on his face, beige jail uniform, and admitted to a federal judge, "I shot Brian Thompson in Manhattan and he died." He said that he stalked Brian Thompson after learning there would be an investor conference for United Healthcare. He didn't know the exact location. He said he emailed United Healthcare posing as an investor with $50 million in capital so that he could learn it would be at a hotel in Midtown Manhattan. And from there, it's Mangione seen on video shooting Brian Thompson in the back. He used a 3D printer to make the murder weapon himself. This was gut-wrenching for Brian Thompson's family. They have never been to court until today. His widow Paulette seen weeping as Mangione entered and the hearing began. And then to hear him admit, after all of this time, that he shot her husband, it was too much, and she was consoled by other members of her family.
So the judge in federal court has now taken the guilty plea from Mangione, and from what I'm hearing is the next sentence date would be December 18th of this year, almost 2 years after Brian Thompson was gunned down, and a lot longer, a lot past when the state court is set to do a trial. It's a very broad spectrum in terms of what Luigi Mangione could be facing. A mandatory minimum of 0 years in prison, but as high as life in prison, and they're leaving this all up to the judge to kind of decide what should happen here.
An American missionary who was kidnapped in Niger last year has now been released. Kevin Rideout from North Carolina is an evangelical missionary. Officials say that he was kidnapped outside his home last October in the country's capital. His missionary group, Serving in Mission, has said he's in good health and will be reunited with his wife Christa and their children. No armed group claimed responsibility for the abduction. Niger has long faced attacks from armed groups including jihadis linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Democrats are demanding answers amid reports of deteriorating mental health and conditions among sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln has been deployed for more than 8 months, the majority of that time involving combat operations in the Middle East. There are reports of sailors trying to jump off the ship, but Central Command says reports of a spike in suicidal thoughts on board are false, saying that the crew remains resilient and resolved. The Pentagon is also pushing back on the claims.
Completely misrepresented. Listen, we make sure that every ship, every crew, every captain has everything we can provide them at every single moment.
ABC News has learned that the USS George Washington, which is homeported in Japan and is headed west and is set to replace the Lincoln as part of a long-planned rotation. President Trump's name may be going back onto the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. This comes after the board, who was appointed by Trump, voted to close the center for repairs and add the words restored and renovated by President Donald J. Trump to the building. A judge previously ordered Trump's name removed. This new plan will now be subject to court approval. Parts of the Midwest are bracing for more damaging floods with a new round of storms. In Ohio, evacuations have been ordered along the Whitewater River, where the flooding is described as unprecedented. And Indiana's governor has declared an emergency. Night vision drone video shows firefighters checking homes in Connorsville, Indiana. Meanwhile, Hawaii is bracing for Lala, which could be the first hurricane to make landfall on Hawaii in 34 years. A hurricane warning has been issued for the Big Island. Melissa Adon is there.
We are under a hurricane warning here on the Big Island. We are along the seawall, the Pacific Ocean out there. That's where we find Tropical Storm Lala. Tropical Storm Lala is expected to intensify to a Category 1 hurricane. That is rare. It is not common for Hawaii to get direct impacts from hurricanes. But look, we're anticipating massive rainfall, up to 2 feet. And of course, because of this mountainous region out here, it is a concern for erratic, dangerous winds and that high surf, right? What Hawaii is known for. We're expecting to see about 15-foot waves. Of course, all of this is already impacting tourism. Most of Hawaii's national parks for those volcanoes, they're already closing. Airlines already issuing warnings to passengers, saying to be aware and be prepared for any flight disruptions. And of course, now is the time to prepare.
Now to some quick hits, other stories that we're following on ABC News. Actress Christy Knowings, best known for her work on the comedy show All That on Nickelodeon, has passed away at the age of 46. Family members say she was removed from life support after suffering a massive asthma attack last week. She starred on the sketch show in the late 90s along with Thompson and Amanda Bynes. And 2 blown tires caused tense moments at Chicago's O'Hare Airport yesterday. The tires failed as the United Airlines jet was speeding down the runway during takeoff. The pilots managed to slam on the brakes, and United says no one was hurt. One more thing before you go, some baseball magic at the annual Field of Dreams game. The Phillies and the Twins faced off in vintage uniforms just feet away from that iconic movie set. Cal Ripken Jr. and Mike Schmidt were among the Hall of Famers who emerged from the corn stalks before the game in Iowa. Then the Phillies' Kyle Schwarber swatted 2 home runs into the corn. Philly ended up beating Minnesota 7-1. And that's what you need to know. For breaking news and live updates throughout the day, check out ABC News streaming on Disney+.
New episodes daily on Disney+.